up, y'all? What up? What up? So today I want to talk about a super important topic. It is the winter time right now, man. It's literally a lot of people that are experiencing difficulties with paying their rent. I just recently sent out an email about rental assistance, right? If you need assistance paying your rent. So today I want to talk about tenant rights in PA. All right, I want to talk about tenant rights in PA. And the reason why I want to talk about tenant rights is because you have situations where you always hear landlords talk about having poor tenants, right? Well, you have cases where the landlord is just simply the term that we all know, which is slumlord, right? They're not fixing anything. They're not really helping the process. They're just pretty much getting the money and going, right? So let's talk about tenant rights. Let's talk about some of the things that we need to understand when you are a tenant and you have a contract with a landlord. Because essentially, guys, you do have a contract with a landlord when you're a tenant, right? So first things first. Alright, when landlords here in PA, guys, when landlords charge you first, last security, um, security deposit requirements, the security deposit are required in PA, right? So, for instance, if you was like in another state, they may not have a requirement to charge you a security deposit. So you could actually petition that if that law may have been different. But in Pennsylvania, they do require security deposits. So that's not against the law when your landlord charges you first last security, right? Sometimes it's a difference between thinking something's common or if it's against the law. So that's a huge part, right? Secondly, rent receipts are required. Rent receipts are required. So even as a tenant, you should want to make sure you're keeping your rent receipts or a file of how you're paying your rent. Even if you're paying your rent cash, you want to get a rent receipt from your landlord and you want to put it away. If you're paying by money order, you want to rip that piece off on the bottom of the money order and keep that portion for your rent payment. Because a lot of times tenants do end up in situations with landlords going to court, and you need to have your documentation to be able to defend your case that you paid rent, that the property was damaged. You want to get photos, whatever the case may be, right? That you paid your security deposit or that you was entitled to your security deposit back because you didn't create certain damages in the property, whatever you guys may be going through, right? All right. So now a written agreement is required in Pennsylvania if the lease is 12 months or longer, right? So if you're living in Pennsylvania and you have a landlord and you guys are agreeing on a certain amount of rent, you do want to make sure you have a rental agreement in place. And sometimes people may be in tough situations and you may need to move really quickly and you may need to just rush the process where you're not worried about no lease, you're not worried about anything. But all of those documentations and things like that are put into place also for your protection and for your consumer rights as well. So, you want to have a rental agreement. Me personally, even if I'm on a 6 months lease or if I was on a month-to-month lease, I would request for the landlord to give me a rental agreement, right? In writing, which is key, not just a verbal agreement, because a lot of times that's how things happen. Now, one thing, guys, and this is actually new to me, I did not know, is that a runner license is not required in Pennsylvania. And sometimes I hear people say, oh, I'm gonna stop paying my landlord rent. I'm gonna stop paying my landlord rent. They don't even got a renter's license. You do want to have a renter's license for many reasons. One of them taxes, but new to me as well, guys. No rental license is required in Pennsylvania. I did not know that. So I wanted to add it to the list so that you guys know as well. Now, lastly, now we talked about a security deposit earlier, right? How they do have to specify how much your security deposit is gonna be. Now, here at the bottom, required to return security deposit 30 days um, within 30 days, right? Unless they have it in writing for, keeping a security deposit due to damages to the property, due to non-payment of rent, due to maybe you didn't pay a utility bill, whatever the case may be. The property management or the landlord is required to give you your security deposit back within 30 days unless they're going to specify differently and they can justify that reason and those deduction of those fees based on what happened during your term there, during your rental term there. But you want to go over your lease because at the end of the day, if your landlord says something that is not in your lease, you want to go back to your lease and verify. Okay, well, let me see if this is in my lease, right? Let me see if this is what I agreed to. Let me see if this is what I signed to, right? Let me see. Let me check it out. So, like I said, man, tenant rights in PA, and there's way more rights and way more things to understand when it comes to just being a tenant. But what I do want to just say, IVs, all this list, man, is just if you're not in the right situation, right? If you don't have a quality landlord, one, you do want to move. Two, if your credit is the factor, I can't move, I have bad credit, then get your credit repaired, honestly. Because I've literally seen people suffer in situations, especially when I was showing a lot of rental property, when it came to their landlording situation, maintenance issues, having young children in the property, which is not safe even for themselves or for the young children, right? So always get your agreements in writing. Always keep rent receipts. That's super important. You don't have to have with your landlord for every little thing, everything that goes on. But you want to keep a good communication. You want things to be fair as well, right? So those are the main things I'll say, guys. Keep everything in writing. Keep documentation. Keep your rental receipts. Communicate with your landlord. Understand that you do have rights, and you don't just have to agree to anything someone says to you. And do a little due diligence. Do a little education, because sometimes you'll find out that a lot of things that people actually say to you aren't true when you do the research, right? So, man, these are just tenant rights in PA. So if you live somewhere else and you're having issues when it comes to, renting or landlord or squatting or whatever the case may be, slumlords, you want to specifically look up your state. You want to specifically look up the laws in your state. But I hope this information was able to help you guys. I hope you got something out this video. If you're watching on YouTube, follow me on Instagram. I am Precious Thompson. Get the ebook available, smashwords.com, 700 Credit Club by Precious Thompson, and I'm going to see you on the other side. Peace.